the unceasing flow of life. Sometimes the greatest strength lies not in moving forward, but in the ability to stop. Imagine yourself as a stone lying deep within a cool stream. Even as the waters of time rush past, you remain there, steadfast and peaceful. Silence is not emptiness. It is the place where every sound of the soul is heard most clearly. Now, let the world around you gently fade away. Let your breath become the bridge that carries you away from worries, returning you to your purest self. You are safe, you are protected, and you are preparing to enter a journey of absolute rest. Before we begin our journey to where the cliffs stand still, if you find this space brings you peace, please support the channel by pressing subscribe and turning on notifications. Your comments, sharing your feelings, are precious motivation for us to continue creating restful sleep every night. Take a deep breath in and breathe out very slowly. Feel the cool air filling your chest and slowly carrying away all the fatigue of the long day as it leaves. Right now, allow your feet to relax completely. Imagine your feet touching a soft carpet of grass, still damp with early morning dew in the majestic Alps. We are beginning a journey to find a place where time seems to have forgotten its own existence. It is a place where sharp limestone peaks reach out to touch gentle silver gray clouds like soft silk. We do not need to hurry. Every step we take in your mind now is as light as a feather. Your surroundings begin to change. Noisy sirens of the city, harsh fluorescent light, and the hurried clicking of keyboards, all are receding, fading, until they are but faint memories. In their place, the pure air of the great forest envelops you, the scent of damp earth, dry beech leaves, and a faint aroma of resin begins to seep into your senses. Do you hear it? A steady, rhythmic humming from far away that is not noise. It is the song of nature, the waterfall cascading from the heights, winding through mountain crevices, creating a melody with no sharp notes, only somber, soothing rhythms. Let your body grow heavy, heavy, like a stone sinking deep into the Mother Earth. You no longer need to carry any expectations, no need to be someone successful or someone busy. Here, in the heart of these high mountains, you are simply a part of the flow. The afternoon sun here is strange. It is not harsh, but slants through ancient trees, creating shimmering spots of light on the ground. These lights dance like precious jewels, inviting you to set aside the outside world and enter a space of healing. The cliff out there has stood firm for centuries through storms and snowfall. It teaches us that stillness is the root of strength. As you loosen your shoulders, relax your forehead, and let the muscles of your face soften. You are learning the way of the stone, steadfast and calm. The water from the falls may be powerful, but when it touches the cliff, it turns into a misty white foam, as gentle as a child's breath. You are feeling a sense of absolute security. The heather log cabin is appearing at the end of the trail. It is small and humble, nestled at the foot of the great cliff, like a child being protected by a mother. The fragrant scent of red pine wafts from the walls, a warm and familiar scent like a hug. You know that inside that wooden door, a stone fireplace is waiting, and all the storms in your heart will soon be soothed. Continue to maintain a steady breath. Feel the warmth from your abdomen spreading throughout your body. You are here where the cliff stands still, and everything is okay. The world outside still turns, but here there is only you and the infinite peace of the mountains. Each breath is a release, letting go of thoughts about tomorrow, letting go of regrets from yesterday. There is only the present, only the sound of flowing water, and the soft feeling of being embraced by the great nature. When you have completely relaxed and let your mind drift with the flow of tranquility, let us step through the door of the heather log cabin. The thick, rough, yet warm pine door opens to a space filled with the flavor of peace. This is not just a place to stay, it is a cocoon, enveloping souls in need of healing. Your feet touch the wooden floor, the gentle creaking sounding like a familiar welcome. The air inside carries a very distinct scent, a blend of rich red pine resin, dry hearth ash, and a mild aroma of herbs simmering on the stove. The light in the room does not come from harsh electric bulbs, but from the soft glow of the rustic stone fireplace. Large river stones, stacked skillfully, bring the breath of the forest into the heart of the home. Looking through the small wooden window, the cliff where the cliff stands still appears majestic like a guardian deity under the fading twilight. The limestone wall turns from silver gray to a mystical lavender blue. The waterfall on the heights now looks like a white galaxy overflowing amidst the deep green of the ancient beech forest. That majesty does not make you feel small or afraid. Instead, it brings a sense of absolute protection. You realize that no matter how the world outside fluctuates, this cliff stands there, eternal and unchanging. In that space, our three guests appear like fragments of real life. Julian, the writer with silver-streaked hair, sits quietly in an old leather armchair, his eyes, once so tired from staring at soulless white pages for 3 years, are now finding solace in the dancing streaks of light on the wooden walls. He is no longer trying to find words, he is simply present. Nearby, Oliver and Sophia carry the breath of high-pressure London. Oliver cannot yet truly let go. His hand occasionally touches his tablet back as an unconscious reflex of busyness. But Sophia is different. She stands by the windowsill, letting the mountain cold brush against her cheeks. She looks at the waterfall and how the water hits the rock without breaking, only turning to mist. She wishes she could be as soft as water, to seek through the barriers in her cruel marriage and kill the caretaker, move silently in the room like a benevolent ghost. Every movement is slow and rhythmic. He does not use empty social pleasantries. When he places a log in the fireplace, or when he rearranges the ceramic cups on the table, you can feel his respect for every present moment. Kyle knows this space has its own power. He is just the guide, helping these guests find the frequency of stillness. The last of the sunlight finally hides behind the mountain peaks, making way for the darkness to envelop the valley. The wooden cabin now becomes a tiny but warm spark amidst the vast forest. The insects begin to chirp. The wind whistling through the door cracks creates somber melodies. Every detail in the room, from the coarse wool tablecloth to the tarnished copper kettle, invites you to sink deeper into relaxation. You feel the warmth from the fireplace spreading, warming your feet, then slowly seeping through your clothes to touch your skin. It is a gentle heat, not burning, but soothing. This space is designed so that every thought of the future or the past becomes unnecessary. Only the scent of the pine, the sound of the fire, and the great silhouette cliff outside of your only reality. You are in the heart of stillness, where every sound of the world is only a distant echo, unable to reach the peace within your soul right now. Night in the Alps is never completely silent. As darkness falls, the space around the heather log cabin begins to ring with a symphony of solitude. The waterfall from the cliff where the cliff stands still seems louder, a somber humming like the breath of motherhood. Inside the cabin, fire from the stone hob, stormy life source, casting long dancing shadows on the fragrant red pine logs. The three guests sit around the fireplace, each carrying a private burden they have yet to release. Julian, the French writer, is slowly swallowing a glass of red wine in his hand. He looks into the sparks, seeing images of crumpled manuscripts, brilliant years past, and the fear of fading talent. He came here to run away, but it seems the silence of the mountains is forcing him to face himself. Nearby, Oliver and Sophia sit together, but between them is an invisible distance, wider than the valley outside. Oliver is still glued to his tablet screen when cold architectural drawings appear, numbers, deadlines, and skyscrapers of tempered glass are his world, a world with no room for emotion. Sophia quietly watches the burning wood. She remembers the early days of their love, when they drew small dreams together on scrap paper. The tension peaks when Oliver suddenly slams his hand on the table because of a lost internet connection. Unbelievable, he snaps, his sharp voice breaking the peace of the room. I have a 50-story project in Dubai waiting. I don't send this drawing tonight. A year's work goes down the drain. Why are we in this God-forsaken place without a single bar of signal? Sophia looks at her husband, her eyes no longer filled with anger, but with deep disappointment, clear as spring water. Look, Oliver, you build skyscrapers for others to live in, but you won't even build a bridge to enter my soul. You have every connection to the world except the one with your heart. In his anger and the clumsiness of exhaustion, Oliver stood up abruptly to search for a signal. His own accidentally swept against the wall table. Crash. Julian's wine glass fell to the rough stone floor, shattering into 1,000 pieces. Deep red wine spilled out, soaking into the crevices of the stone like an open wound amidst the stillness. Oliver froze, his breath coming in short gasps. Sophia covered her mouth, her eyes welling with tears. Julian remained still, staring intently at the wreckage beneath his feet. At that moment, Cale, the caretaker, who had been quietly brewing tea in the corner, slowly approached. He did not rush to clean, nor did he utter a word of reproach. He knelt down, using his rough hands, calloused by the mountain winds and woods, to pick up each sharp shot of glass. The young man, Cale, looked up, his voice deep, warm, and resonant, like two pebbles clashing at the bottom of a deep stream. Look at the cliff outside that window. It has stood there for thousands of years, letting the water from the falls pour over it every day, every hour. Do you know why it does not shatter under the power of the water? Oliver remained silent. His previous aggression vanished, replaced by the confusion of a child caught in a mistake. Cale continued. Water never tries to break the rock through violence. It is persistent, patiently seeping through every crack. and the rock never tries to block the water through rigidity. It opens its heart, letting the water carve it, letting the water wash away the sharp edges, making it rounder and more beautiful. We, humans, who live only a few decades, insist on being rigid rocks, building walls around ourselves, only to shatter when we collide. He held a piece of glass up to the firelight. This glass broke because it was too hard and fragile. He did not know how to follow the flow. Life is the same, Oliver. You try to build 5-story buildings in the clouds, but your foundation, empathy, and presence is rotting because you are too busy to listen. Cal's words were like a cold stream poured directly into Oliver's temper. He looked down at his hands accustomed only to holding a computer, mouse, and a ruler, now trembling before the simplicity of truth. He looked at Sophia, seeing her tears silently flowing under the moonlight reflecting through the window. For the first time in years, he saw her, truly saw her, not as a faint silhouette beside his blueprints. Julian finally spoke, his voice as light as tobacco smoke. Cale is right. Writing or architecture, in truth, are both arts of connection. For the past 3 years, I couldn't write anything because I was trying to build grand plots while forgetting how to listen to the sound of falling leaves. I closed my heart out of fear of failure, just as you are closing your heart with deadlines. Cale brought out a pot of herbal tea, brewed right on the hob. The aroma of cinnamon, star anise, and wild mint billowed out, intertwining with the scent of red pine. He poured each person a steaming cup of tea. Drink. Fire does not only burn to destroy. Fire burns to warm and to illuminate. What we accidentally leave behind in the dark, crackle, snap. The sound of the pine wood popping in the fireplace no longer sounded dry. It was like the sound of gentle, encouraging applause. The warmth spread, seeping into every grain of wood, soothing heated heads and hearts trembling from loneliness. Oliver slowly walked over to Sophia. He did not promise a wealthier future, nor did he offer a repair plan. He simply took her cold hands in his. Sophia did not pull her hands away. She leaned her head on her husband's shoulder, feeling his heartbeat harmonize with the rustling waterfall outside. I'm sorry for forcing you into my standards, she whispered. No, I am the one who should apologize, Oliver replied, his voice lighter than the wind gliding through the beech leaves. I forgot that the most important house I need to build is right here within our hearts. As night turned toward dawn, the fireplace held only gentle layers of glowing embers. Julian took a small notebook and an old pen from his bag. He did not write a grand novel. He began to record his first sensations: the smell of cinnamon tea, the crackle of the wood, and the majestic stance of the cliff in the night. His pen began to dance, not because of the pressure of readers, but because of the urge of a soul that had just found its flow. The pine cabin was now completely immersed in a magical intersection. The sound of a waterfall hitting the cliff was a reminder of eternity, that all stars would pass and only empathy would remain forever. They realized that true strength lies not in stubborn rigidity, but in the ability to harmonize, just as water and stone have coexisted for thousands of years in this valley. Every conflict was purified, every burden was cast off. Only the warmth of human connection and the absolute silence of the Alps remained, sheltering the deep sleep that was slowly arriving after the sincere confessions. The wooden cabin now sank into a completely new state of stillness. It was not the heavy silence of misunderstandings, but the tranquility of a soul that had just found its harbor. The fire in the heart had ceased its violent dancing, turning into a gentle reddish orange glow, radiating warmth as steady as the breath of someone fast asleep. Julian leaned back in the armchair, his eyes drifting as he watched the thin wisps of tea smoke intertwining and then vanishing into thin air. He felt the magical intersection between humanity and nature. At this moment, there seemed to be no boundary between the sound of the waterfall outside and the beating of his heart. Every thought of unfinished pages, extravagant awards, and the fear of being forgotten now became weightless. They were like golden dust, motes floating in a blue of light, beautiful but without weight. Oliver and Sophia remained there, hand in hand, in this silence. They did not need to say another word. Empathy had replaced dry blueprints. They felt the warmth in each other's palms, a physical connection, simple yet more powerful than any architectural structure Oliver had ever built. He realized that the true beauty of a space lies not in its height or luxury, but in the way it allows the souls within to blend together. The scent of red pine in the cabin seemed thicker, sweeter, and warmer. It was the scent of safety, of a century that the storms of life could not touch. Do you feel the sensation of your body gradually melting into the soft cushions, into the warmth of the hug? and into the humming rhythm of the waterfall. Every muscle has been completely loosened from your toes to your calves and hips, and then spreading up the spine to the top of your head. You feel weightless, like a beach leaf drifting lazily on a crystal clear stream. Cal quietly cleared the final shards of the wine glass, but the action no longer evoked regret. The fragments had vanished, just like the shards of hurt, and the guest's heart had been cleared away. He smiled, a smile hidden in the shadows, and stepped toward the corner of the room, leaving a private space, a peace to self-heal. The sound of burning wood was now only a crackle, very light, very spark, like a whisper in your ear, saying that everything is okay. The moon outside had risen high, casting a silver beam of light into the window, cold yet full of serenity. It intersected with the warm firelight inside, creating an intermediate glow, a place where reality and illusion begin to merge as one. You begin to feel your eyelids growing heavy, not because of fatigue, but because of absolute peace of mind. You know that the cliff out there will still stand guarding your sleep. You know the water will still flow, carrying all your troubles away from this valley. All images of Julian, Oliver, Sophia, all the heather cabin begin to fade, transforming into pure sensations, warmth, scent, and the sound of silence. You are vanishing into this space, no longer a separate entity, but a part of the dream-filled alpine night symphony. The darkness has now become thick and smooth as velvet. The valley at the foot of the alpine cliff is completely silent, leaving only the steady breath of the great forest inside the heather cabin. The fire has retreated deep into the heart of the embers, radiating a dim, red, ethereal light, warming the room with a slow, soothing rhythm. Julia, Oliver, and Sophia have all fallen asleep. It is not a restful sleep filled with daily anxieties, but a deep, dreamless sleep, a total rest now that their souls have found harmony. The sound of the waterfall from the cliff still hums, steadily humming. That sound is no longer an external noise. It has become the heartbeat of the house, the lullaby of nature. For the children who have just returned from the storm, everything is dissolving. The pine walls, the stone fireplace, and even the silhouette of the massive cliff outside all gradually blur in your mind. You feel as if you're lying on a pure white cloud, drifting amidst a night sky full of stars. No gravity, no pressure, only the absolute freedom of a spirit that has let go of all burden. Imagine tomorrow morning you first rays of sun pierce through the ethereal mist, the valley will wake up in breathtaking beauty. The stream will be clearer, rushing through the rocks, kicking up smooth foam like small clouds landing on earth. Julian will wake up, sitting at the wooden table on the porch with a completely new mindset. His pen will no longer be dry. It will dance across the pages, capturing the beauty of stillness and the power of empathy. Oliver and Sophia will walk together along the stream, not to find homesick now, but to admire the majestic stance of the cliff together. They will realize that the greatest structure is not the tallest building, but a heart that knows how to open, to receive, and warm another. But that is for tomorrow. For now, all you need to do is continue to sink deeper. Let the sound of the waterfall outside guard your sleep. Let the lingering scent of pine soothe your senses. You are safe. You are and you are slowly entering the deepest sleep. No pain is carved away by time, like stone under a stream, and where the heart is warmed by sincere fires, everything around you is fading, only infinite peace remains. I wish you a very good night's sleep in the heart of the forest, where the cliff stands still and your soul is reborn. Thank you for accompanying us on the journey to find stillness tonight. If this story helped you feel lighter, don't forget to come back and interact with the channel by leaving a small message in the comments. I will wake up tomorrow morning. Your presence is the inspiration for us to continue weaving beautiful dreams. Now, sleep well.